Welcome to 56-Bit Cloud Cafe, your go-to destination for all tech topics in the cloud. I'm Atir Zalat.
And I'm Patrick Camilleri. And together we'll be addressing various cloud topics.
Hello everyone, and welcome to 56-Bit's podcast series on AWS Simple Notification Service or SNS. In this first episode, we will dive into the fundamentals of SNS and explore its primary use cases, key components, and benefits within cloud-based architectures. So let's start. Today, we are focusing on notifications. Can you tell us a bit about AWS Simple Notification Service, what it is, and what the kind of problems it solves?
Alright, so welcome back everyone, and thank you for that, Atir. So, to answer your question about what SNS is, AWS Simple Notification Service. It is one service out of many in AWS. It is a fully managed service, and it's a messaging service, right? So it's fully managed. You don't have to do anything behind the scenes to have this service running. You literally just use it. And it's a messaging service. Its job is to send messages from one place to another. We're going to be explaining how that works, what would be the use cases of it, from where the messages start to where they end up, and how to use them. So SNS is a messaging service. You can think of it as a broadcast system, right? Where it's like television, right? Where you have publishers which are publishing a television stream, and then you have those subscribers, those people who are taking in what the publisher is publishing. And it allows applications, but also people, to communicate with each other. So there are two ways of doing this. So you can do it application to application, A to A, basically, where you have one application that wants to send a message to a different application. And this is done in a fully serverless way, where one application publishes the message and the other application receives it. And in fact, we call this methodology a publish-subscribe model. There is the publisher, and then there is the subscriber that receives the message. So application to application, but it can also be used for application to person, or A2P, right? Application to person means the application creates the message, but then a person, an actual human being, receives that message via SMS, email, mobile push notifications. So if you want to just touch on some examples of this, application to application would be messages passed on from, for example, microservices applications. Those applications that are split into smaller pieces known as microservices. And these microservices might want to internally talk to each other. That would be application to application messaging through SNS. The other one, application to person, would be something like your application wants to let a person know that there is a new update to a software, or there is a new alert, or maybe that an order has been received, or an order has been sent out for shipping. These are messages that you want to send to people. So that's what SNS is. It's a great service, very fast, and very ultimately useful in these situations.
We've been exploring notification options on AWS, and both SNS and SQS have come up. Can you help us understand how SNS differs from other messaging services like SQS?
SNS, Simple Notification Service, is similar, but at the same time it is used in a completely different way from SQS, Simple Queue Service. Both are services in AWS, both are completely serverless, you don't have to do anything to manage them. Both are messaging services, they push messages from one place to another, usually an application to application. In the case of SNS, it can also send from an application to people. But that's where the similarities end. Basically, the key differences between them is that SNS, the Simple Notification Service, is a publish-subscribe model, meaning that as soon as a message is published by the publisher, the pub part, that is immediately sent to whoever is subscribed to one or more applications or people that are subscribed to receive that message. And as soon as that happens, that message is received in real time. It focuses more on real-time notifications. So you can think of it, as we said before, like a broadcast system where you have a television publisher with multiple people hearing or seeing that broadcast. SQS, Simple Queuing Service or Queue Service, is also a messaging service, but it's point-to-point. It's one-to-one. It's used to send one message from one place to a single other place, unlike SNS, which is one-to-many. So SQS is one-to-one, point-to-point, and it's used mostly for queuing messages, meaning allowing publishers to put messages into a queue, and then that message remains in the queue until someone or something takes that message from the queue. There is a buffer, an X amount of time between when there is a message being created and the message being received. And this creates what we call asynchronous processing. It allows the creator of the message to send as many messages as they want, whilst the receiver can take its time to slowly handle those messages, because there is a queue in the middle allowing for that buffer. So this asynchronous processing is the main use case for any queuing system like SQS. If you want to compare it to the SNS broadcast system, SQS would be more like a post office box. A box where you place as many letters as you want, and then eventually it will be captured by the postman and delivered. But it allows a place for those messages to stay temporarily until the receiver is ready to handle them.
Okay, perfect. Now to really get a handle on SNS, let's break it down. Can you explain the key components like topics, subscriptions, and publishers? How do these work together to deliver notifications?
SNS uses a number of components. I would say 3 are very important. The first one is the publisher. The publisher is the source of the message, is what creates the message. It can be an application or a service that creates a text message or some other type of message and sends it to the SNS service. Now, to be able to categorize those messages, you can have different categories. We have what is known as a topic. So a publisher, when sending the message to SNS, it will tell SNS, I want this message to be in this topic X. And this topic is the category where those messages will then be sent out from. And they will be sent out immediately. The third and last important component would be the subscribers, those applications or people who are subscribing to those messages. In fact, they subscribe to a specific topic, to a specific category of messages. So if you have an application that sends 6 messages to 3 different topics, only the ones that are subscribed to topic A would receive the messages that went to topic A. The ones that were subscribed to topic B would receive the messages in topic B only, etc., etc. So you can have one publisher, many topics, many subscribers to make up the SNS ecosystem.
Amazing. Now, as we focus on building cloud-based architectures, what are the key benefits of using SNS for notifications?
SNS offers several benefits. First of all, it's not the only service out there. There are many other services that do pub-sub architectures like this one. SNS is great because it is completely serverless, which allows you to send as many messages as you want, and it will handle those messages efficiently and in high volume. So it has a lot of scalability. Of course, there are always limits, but those limits are really high. There's also a lot of flexibility with SNS. It has a lot of features. For example, it can send different types of notifications. So you might send the publisher might send a message to topic X, and then the subscribers will receive that message, but they might receive it in many different formats. One subscriber might receive that message as an SMS. Another one might receive it as an email. A different one might receive it as a push notification or as an HTTP connection. You can even have subscribers that are other services, other applications, even AWS services like Lambda. Those are all different types of subscribers. And ultimately the system, SNS, has a lot of other features as well, like first in, first out capabilities. It allows ordered messages. So messages will always come out in a specific order, first in, first out. And many more features like encryption and good security handling, etc. SNS, apart from scalability and flexibility, can also do, it is the main way that we do decoupling. So decoupling, I'm going to repeat that because of the mobile. SNS, apart from scalability and flexibility, also does decoupling. It's how we decouple different services from each other. Decoupling means that one service does not affect another service. If one goes down, the other will continue working. And we do that with SNS through these topics, through these categories of messages that promotes having different modules and ultimately being resilient. One thing going down does not affect another thing going. So decoupling is an important aspect of any cloud-based architecture, and the SNS is an integral part of that as an option. Of course, you can use other services. Finally, apart from scalability, flexibility, and decoupling, we have cost effectiveness, right? Being very cost effective. It is like most other services in AWS. It's a pay-per-use model. This is fully serverless, meaning that you only pay for what you use. If you never send a message, you will never get billed. If you do send messages, you will be billed for those messages that you sent. And there is also a pretty good free tier as well for basic usage. But after that, it's also quite cheap to send messages, depending obviously on your use case and the volume of messages that you send. So I would say those are the main benefits of SNS.
And that covers our introduction to SNS. In the next episode, we will delve deeper into the architecture of SNS and how it integrates with other AWS services. Until then, happy cloud computing!
If you have questions, suggestions, or want to share your feedback, connect with us on social media.
Also, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and to leave us a review to help others find their way to the Cloud Cafe.